Yo ho ho and a bottle of fun and a cigarette coming out of my mouth. Hoo hoo hoo. I'm not holy, I'm a smoker. I can hear the Indians banging their drums though when I'm smoking. It's like, hey you're among company, you're in family. Kind of like that. So, yeah, last night I went to bed saying, when all's said and done, I'm a shaman. No, I didn't go to shaman school. I don't go to metaphysical training anymore. My last training was in '88. Did a year or two of, classic training in tarot with a master here in town, Bonnie Lant, Landt, Fegan, Fegan. Oh boy, hoo. She packs a punch. She was packing a punch in the 80s. I contacted her in 12 and said, like that, because it's like, I connected with all of my teachers that year. And, a couple of, beloveds who, we had parted in profound misunderstanding. I began to realize, so I made good. I said, I loved you then. Sorry it didn't work out. Sorry, I was kind of a D-bag. Oh, wait, I was the D-bag. No, I can guarantee it was me. But I still love ya. I don't want to be in relationship with ya, but I love you. She did that a lot. With Richard and sweethearts. It was good. Whenever that happens, it's good. Coming home, it's a good thing. And it continues to this day. It's really been good for her. For me, oh shit, what's that all about? Wow! Which is exactly why we're doing this tape. So here's the deal. I'm coming in just to let you know there were some really weird shenanigans going on last week, including something that I can find no evidence for. I know it's got to be there somewhere, some reference to it, but I can't find any reference to it even. And it blew me out of the freaking water. I thought it was the same day as the Vespers. I know it was the same day as the Vespers. I know this. So I'm going to recount it here because it's one of the pieces of the puzzle that has not been verbalized, and then I'll let them come through with a review really quickly of my having hit the floor on Thursday night after a series of I don't know what. I'm going to have to just review the evidence basically, where I apparently made my little light up rainbow mist Merkaba go boop, 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 boop. All systems activated. Boop. I had an EMF pulse. I've since done homework in Quasar and in Pulsar. Literature, trying to figure out, and I read it and went, oh, holy crap. Really? Oh my God. And that's where I left it. It's like, okay, gold mine, but way too complicated. First, I've got to learn electromagnetic theory, and then I can mount these giants and have some fun. So it's coming. So a pulse, an EMF pulse. Okay, that's where I went. Okay, EMF pulse. What's that? Then from there, remembering the quasar. That was like, it was a big deal. And then seeing that it's not quasar energy, it's actually pulsar energy that is related to an EMF pulse, and that this is a radio frequency and galactic, of course. So where's a quasar come in? Ever heard of an axis, dear? Wah, wah. We said too much. So anyway, this thing that happened, I was sitting here yakking about the first wave and talking about issues that were, well, they're not released. I mean, stuff that I've learned in my travels, so to speak. And, yeah, they won't have any of it. No, it's not to go out. There's a fundamental mistake in one of them, and so they won't let it be released. It's like, the button's too hot when I push it. Whoa, we will not be going there, little girl. No. So if there's a mistake, it would appear in presentation of information. If there's any chance that there's going to come back and somebody's going to say, hey, and there have been a few things I've had to look up, a few things that they've mentioned with Cryon, like the 4th null and node opening. I'm not sure that's happened. It kind of made me kind of a little bit wobbly. Holy crap, they're talking about something that I don't even know if it's happened or not. And if it has, then it's on the 5th, and I don't know if I want to, I think we need to all strap on and strap in, I mean, when the 5th gets open, because that's so I'm thinking, well, maybe that's dimensional energy as well as just null and node energy and time release capsule energy. Maybe that's moving up in harmonics, and I don't know what I've gotten myself into here. So it's like that sometimes, but they let those kind of things stand. I think sometimes thinking, well, if it's a mistake, it can be explained due to blah blah, but I have no idea if it's a mistake or not. I trust them, I trust their judgment, and I trust their presentations, so we'll see. But yeah, when this mommy, Kathy mommy, says, oh yeah, now we're going to talk about it, now, and I could see them struggle with it. They were deep in channel, and they were delivering profound information about something, and I mentioned this once before, but I'm going to do it again, and they came out of it. They said, no, we will not be doing that, and it was done. It's just, no, we're not going to be discussing that. So, I mean, I don't have control over some of the stuff that gets unpublished and stays on lockdown. And they may just be destroyed. I destroyed the first, 20 videos. I now have like over 200 to choose from. And you've seen there's now 111 of these things. Cute number. So, this is the 112th thing that's going to be posted, and it is about, which is 4, of course, it's about the mechanics of what's going on. So I hit the floor and had an EMF pulse, right? And they said that my consciousness was standing with them over the body. How much consciousness do you need, they said, in that body? But then they said that they took that, that this dolomite, whatever, this sound that was a solid, but it was light, that went, they said it lifted my consciousness up. All right, so how can that be if I'm standing there? So are they talking about my personality structure? Are they talking about how my interface? Because then it's through this has been these walk-in stuff and the expansion stuff and the ego death stuff, and it's like, it's time to call a timeout and review this. And I know it's 8 minutes in, so it may be a long one, and so be it. Then I gotta go. But the deal is that I was channeling, and there was this menacing energy. It was like the old days, that kind of energy. I haven't felt that energy for a while. It's funny how they said, it's funny how in the one leading up to the Vespers, which they have told me to review, there's something in there that you need to see. And I did, and there were many things, but they said, it's, they said it's peaceful in the house, and it was, and yet there were howling dogs. And I can tell you, if dogs were howling out there, I think I mentioned this last night, you wouldn't have seen, the tape would have stopped, and that would have been the end of it. I would have to restart the transmission because I'd have to make sure the dogs were okay. That's messed up. The dog's hurt one way or the other, and I, calling out for help, right? But I didn't hear any of that. And I'm going on and on about how peaceful it is in the house. But then they said, it's funny because there's this thing going on. It's low and it's quiet, but it's like, this is what how they, and then it all clicked. Wait a minute. Because I was feeling a menace and blowing it off. Well, that's just my imagination. And Dave referenced that as well. That they mimicked me and said, yeah, it's probably nothing. But when they did like this, it was like, oh, those were the dogs. Oh my God. Well, this menacing energy was, I went right to the Hounds of Hell for some reason. I went to Wikipedia, Hounds of Hell. Okay. Huh. Would you like some Greek mythology today? Yeah. It was talking about locking souls away who were into eternity. And sealing the door where evil dwells, right? Which Alice Bailey has in her prayer, 11:11. So it was weird, but then it was followed up with, and I wish that I knew. I'm stating permission. I mean, it's clear that I give permission, but for this, I really want to know what that was about, because I was in meditation and I was channeling or whatever, and then our tornado siren went off, and it was loud, and I had a transformation. I during that sound was doing like this, and it felt really good after I let myself feel through the threat and just let it be with me, and in some sort of partnership. Then what happened was my entire body was white flame, soft, crackling, really soft, but flame. And it was from the inside out and the outside in, and it was beautiful. And then this caduceus thing that I've been describing, this spiral in my spine of purple and gold, was no longer. It was like dispersed, and I had, the flames were no longer just white. There were gold tips with purple points. And I became that. And I sat there transfixed in this. It felt really good. Really good. Like a completion, Felt really good. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I walk around with, guys. And I keep saying, I really would like it if someone would call me up and ask me out for a steak dinner. What is wrong with calling me up and asking me out for a beer, guys? Come on. I don't have to talk this spooky shit. I can talk about the weather. You want to talk about Trump? You want to talk about whatever? Pick a subject. I'm kind of diverse. And this gaping wound that I talk about, I want to have a boyfriend, basically. Well, yeah, get over it, bitch. Pardon my French, but come on. If it's not in my reality, there's a really good reason for it, and I am being protected. It's an act of benevolence, and I know this. And my body is heating up and sweating. And yet, so that Jesus thing really helped a lot to remind myself, wait a minute here. Talk about a pattern of behavior and expectation and pain and suffering. You want to talk about longing? You want to talk about unrequited love? Well, honey, that should just be like across my forehead. That's the way I roll. Not ever understanding that I was falling in love with people's souls and their potential, not their physical expression. But you line those up, oh, holy God, we've got a party. you combine that with you know, a sexual nature that's open and inviting and hot, and you know, looks and everything. Oh my God. So I'm a profound and wonderful girlfriend and lover, but yeah, I mean, it's like people don't really want to take that ride sometimes. I wonder why. I can't handle the intensity, man. I only want to go 7-Eleven. So, whatever. It's available. That profundity of love is available. And I think that that's what people recognize and go, you know, no. I was looking for a quick lay here. Got myself in too deep. Gotta go. So that's kind of where I'm at with relationships. Like, oh, well. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, all right. If I can run my energy up and down and just, you know, give and receive energies, well, that is, that's something I can figure out. I'm doing that. I'm doing that every day of my life right now. I'm doing it. It takes some time to get used to, because it's a different feedback loop, is it not? And it's love devoid of pain and suffering. Interesting. Huh. How is that possible? Love that doesn't hurt my soul? So, I don't know. It's all a mishmash. But in amongst all of this is these mechanical questions, basically. So, I'm going to change the audio really quick, hoping that I didn't mess up the audio by having that plugged in. We'll see. Anyhow, if it was messed up, it was only for me going blah blah, so we're going to get to the meat and potatoes. I am the Caesar salad and the Coca-Cola, no, the strawberry lemonade. See? Let's take dinner. Someone, please call me. Ask me out. I need some food. And company. Thank you. We don't have to go deep. Thank you. Okay. I will make my own fun today. I will find companions today. And great friends along the way. I'm looking forward to it. I want to go. But I want to get this figured out first. My little crooked finger. You see how I got granny fingers, right? See how bent they are? That's how they roll. I would have like a week of not being able to keep my attention away from my finger because it hurt so bad, and then I would get another boinkle. It's like, I can imagine when I'm 80, it's gonna be like, thanks. That coffee's good. No, I can't knit anymore. I don't think I'd mind. I think knuckles like that and hands that go, they're like, wow, that is so rockin'. So I don't ever mind that. But I do like how they do this sometimes. It's like, oh, you got such granny fingers, dude. Look at that. Anyway, these are my mother's hands. I love you, Mom. Okay, so yeah, the cats are all over the place now. It's like, oh, activation, they're coming through again. I think I must sing the song of my people. That's Sunshine. She's doing the enter me dance a lot. Enter me, oh, enter me. I don't care who it is, just enter me. She's neat. Singing to the choir, lady, cat. She's so cute. Yes. All right, so here we go. I want you to understand that the flame thing, this is not, none of this is, I don't do the Ascended Master stuff. I walked away from the hierarchy a long time ago because I don't agree with hierarchical spiritual teaching. I don't like the idea that I have to earn status through works or beingness to get more star power. That has always bothered me. Even the sainting of people, I mean, I have an issue with that. So it's never really been something I've resonated with, although I recognize them. I mean, I recognize Saint Germain's been with me for a really long time, and it's very dear to me. They all are. It's just, but then you have the ascended masters, and it's like, really? Okay, so we're going to have gradations of coolness. I don't know if I like that. Why isn't St. Francis of Assisi considered an ascended master? Well, he's part of a soul group, so I guess he is, but do we really have to, as a group, make those distinctions of lesser and more, I don't know, spiritual whatever, chops, I guess? So I'm going wah, 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 because of this Lady Nada thing. Early I went up, and it's all written, blah, blah. I went up, and I was like, I have to go up to the mountain right now. And I stood on it, and poof, I was aflame with white flames with yellow tips and purple points. And they said, this is your body habitus. I don't know what that means. I'd never come across that term. And then they mentioned Lady Nada. I don't know a Lady Nada. I barely give a nod to any female. It's just the way I roll. Yes, I understand the importance of Mary Magdalene. Yes, I understand about the Mother Mary, and I get it, the importance of that. That's why I wanted the Catholic Church, because there were no females that held divine power in Lutheranism. So why wouldn't I want to go to Catholicism? But that I saw them in a subjugated role and not seen as what they were. I knew what they were. I knew what those ladies were. They were the teachers, dear ones. The well from which the cup known as Jesus was offered, full of spirit, filled by the women who surrounded him. And in perpetual suffering there stood the Mother Mary, some sacrificial entity who did miracles but was mystical, but shrouded. I didn't like it. So I kind of gave up on the female thing, realizing that the Judeo-Christian ethic was just not going to be my home when it came to figuring out what it was like, what it was all about to be a woman and to be a female. And then they say Lady Nada? What? No. I don't even think Kuan Yin. I mean, obviously she packs a punch, but I don't resonate with her. She doesn't come visit me. I'm not here to sacrifice. I'm not here to do that. No. No. Lady Nada. A vision I did not call, and I would not have been resonating with, and would have checked that off my list of, I know I'm going to really have made it as like a shaman once I have realized Lady Nada status. Then it's just in the bag. No, it wasn't like that. So, shaman, yeah, I'm going to sleep thinking, yeah, that's the correct term for what I am. A shaman can conjure up, storms and politely ask a buffalo to come into the village and sacrifice itself, and nobody, thinks twice about that. And they have massive conversations with herbs, and they're allowed to be a little weird, and they're who you invite for celebrations, and passages and stuff. But yeah, that makes sense. Then this morning there was another thing about shamanism. It's like, confirmation, because that gives me a freedom within this of But yeah, I didn't go to school. I didn't go to shaman school. I didn't take ayahuasca around a fire and have a vision with my spirit guide. So I don't know. Am I a shaman? Yeah. It's just something that I am. So the shaman is going to step aside and let the quantum mechanic people come through and explain a couple of things. And I don't have to post this if I don't want to. But I really kind of want to. I feel like it's okay. At this point, part of this is owning my experience. It's something that's antithetical to channelers out there right now. They're not coupling the ascension process with their daily lives. And that was my job. One of them, get deeply awake. Let's, if it doesn't make sense and it doesn't make my daily life better, and I don't see improvement, then it's out of there. Maybe it'll come back. And maybe I'll be shown my naivete and my impatience. Maybe. But until it does, if it's a detriment or it is neutral in my environment, I don't need it. I got other things to think about. So it's kind of how I roll. If it doesn't feel good and it doesn't help me, I'm not going to consider it as something that's in my toolbox. I really don't need to be reaching for duds anymore. So, with that said, the 8s are being run. Okay. And for this one, we will close eyes, yeah? Telling how what we think might happen, we're keeping silent. Because it may not. Depends on many things. So, we begin. And so, she is expecting a lot of scientific information with this one, much in the way of mechanics and physics. And although this is a most appropriate way to approach these events, we would say we would prefer to make them a bit more personal, if that's okay. There is, of course, lurking behind this question, or these many questions, about death, a concern that once again she is going to die. This is what this is. Having had some experiences and at the sink, remembering our words about the video done at the beginning called In Celebration, where she comes and there is death in her eyes. We had assured her it was not a video that she had access to simply because having seen that in her eyes at that moment or that time frame during this transition would have been a bit jarring. It was quite evident and remains so. Dark, deep eyes. Yet, transitioning, we would say. And then watching and really coming to terms with the fact that she let a part of herself go. Just walked away. And the concern she has still of what we said, that it was perhaps not a compatible, or it was not a loved portion of herself. And so that was also a concern, that perhaps if she does not hold her consciousness right, she'll be shown the door and she will not be around for the show. She has since understood that with the nurse who walked away, the Kathy understood it would be great if she was able to split off, because she would not be slowed down anymore and could pursue perhaps a master's in nursing. It could pursue the things that were antithetical to the larger purpose. And this was precisely the point. Not that she had reached the end of an energetic road due to failure to understand some fairly obvious things. Not at all. Not abandoned because she was stupid, basically, which is always the concern. If you're not clever enough, well, then you just get lost in the shuffle. Not like that. No. And this concern that she was kicked out of her own body, not needed during a moment of life completion, mission fulfillment, and the greatest desire she holds. Above all, why was I kicked out? Isn't that the time I should have been in and playing and giggling? Why didn't I get my reward? Am I Moses again? What is this? Did I get kicked out of my own body? So, articulating these fears is very helpful, because they are just that, and the heart goes crazy. Prior, we would say, to further understanding and release of, well, what you're seeing right now is indeed a slow release. And this is what we were referring to in that video. It is clear to us, dear one, that if you knew the significance of what had happened today, you would be acting differently. And so we can understand simply by looking at how you are behaving, what you are saying, the music choices you are making, and the choices in general that you are inhabiting show us you do not understand the profundity of what occurred today. There is absolutely no shame in that observation. Simply a statement of fact. Like a mother checking off a list of, well, we'll have to get back to that one. Not the time now, dear one. Time to rest and eat. Like that. We saved the Lady Nada stuff for the end. So we did explain now about these seeming deaths that have been occurring. And also we bring to everyone's attention her willingness to go through this process just as often as she needs until the project is complete, so to speak. Fundamentally, comprehending that this is a consolidation, not a whittling away or winnowing off energy that we find unattractive, deficient, unacceptable. dare we say it, invalid. None of these things are so. But it speaks to the lag, you see. Has it not been said that consciousness can be seen as a rubber band, and stretched on one finger, it is pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled, nearly past the point of breaking, and then so what if you are witnessing a pulling? Well then, isn't that fine cinema? Shiver, shiver, shiver. There were no identities or personality structures attached to the flame that she turned into this last week. No mention of Lady Nada. This was due in part to the idea that she needed some cross-reference material. She needed to understand more about the relationship that she was in, about this, why it seemed to be so significant, and this would lend clarity then to this being able to break between being in love with a soul or a consciousness or a signature or a aroma, we would say, to comprehend connection, and that there are profound connections on the physical which are corollaries of other relationships. Well, that makes sense. We're all a team here. Oh, okay. It's not lost on us that she does see this Jesus in everyone. No, what occurred that day was something different. There was, truly, menacing in the air simply because she held it in consciousness upon awakening. A day not only of contrast, but of release. What does a flame do? Does a flame not exist because there is fuel within and without? We would suggest that a flame truly is not a flame until there is an almost alchemical balance between fuel sources. And further, a flame cannot ignite and be made visible, changing from one substance to another without a flame. Spark, light, heat, expansion. The videos that rolled were nearly obsessive, and it appeared that we could not get her attention away from this model of galactic consciousness, which was so soothing and made sense of so much for this one. A sense of not only purpose of her life, but perhaps of the things that she put people through as a result of being what and who she is, but in company. Understanding that it seems as if devastation in relationships follows her wherever she goes. Now, this is actually not true at all. Not at all. but from a certain perspective it can be seen as such, rather than what she since learned, that all relationships are in place due to agreement and at request. This was the healing that was required and was given on the atomic level while she sat in her recliner after Vespers. However, clearing had to be done prior, cleansing and acknowledgement. We tell you that this event happened after the Merkaba had been lit up. The experience would not have been available to her prior in the way that it was given. Prior on the mountain, more of a foreshadowing and then a stitch in time to assist her in simple energetic management. This was different. This was physical and felt like release itself without the spin. But recognition while in the flame. I am not burning up. Look at this, it's so beautiful. Look at the tips. Just as before, but I'm in it now. Look. Being able to appreciate the white flame blazing within. Now no longer a flicker. It has been said that the human body is going through the transformation of being carbon-based and changing somehow to crystalline-based. Is this not a simple metaphor for going from linear to multidimensional reality? Is not carbon on the periodic table? And yes, crystal, the chemical signature of, or the atomic signature of crystals, of course, are represented on the elemental chart, of course. However, that is a dead version. We would submit much like a frog who is pithed and then dissected with a beating heart to explain to the human being quite counterintuitively, we might add, how this living, breathing, thinking, feeling creature ticks. And so we would like to put that particular comparison to rest. It is helpful, and we are aware that many people have devoted their lives to the science of this, and we say bravo. A mechanical watch with a little stem that you must wind every 12 or 18 hours. Well, that's a lot different, is it not, than having a digital watch on your hand that gives you the atomic time in concert with your chosen geographical coordinates. And what makes this tick? Well, crystals. Crystals, dear, crystals. Crystals. Although the comparison is apt and true, it does not lend itself to a visual or sensorially based consciousness. And although it's somehow possible to imagine oneself carbon-based. Crystalline-based, well, that doesn't make any sense at all, I'm afraid. It makes as much sense as turning into white flame with yellow tips and purple points, we would say. But what we wish to draw your attention to is what occurred. She mentioned it somehow in that flash of a beautiful, blinding light. She understood something quite profound. This group, this energy, this force which she sees has run the show in her life and who works with her day and night now and always has, was finally seen as a spiraling caduceus up spine. Her knowing full well there were no two energies at all, but one simply choosing to express as the two. As beautiful color and a piquant spiral, reminiscent of many, many things. In that moment of transfiguration, the gold, the purple, was dispersed into the glowing white Merkaba. Her DNA now expresses as. We would say this means a certain sense of full embodiment. As within, so without. As above, so below. As within, so without. The purple and the gold then somehow translating into the flames themselves, becoming something different. It was a visual for what had happened as she hit the floor. While it is true that there are certain aspects of this personality structure which others know from 2, 10, 20, 50 years ago, remains more or less evident. Much of its expression, the way which it chooses to express preferences and desires and inner truths, has changed quite significantly. The memories are intact, are they not? Even better, weirdly, than they ever were, of this one life. As it becomes more and more evident to her that perhaps it was not lived in vain. It is unfortunate when these super slidey, as she calls them, events occur, these sparkly events occur. She normally has dictation going, so she knows what the heck is going on. Shivers, shivers, shivers. And in this case, that was not so much withheld as unnecessary. So what appeared to be a punishment, well, look at that. I must be too dumb to understand that. They're not even explaining it to me. And then having it not matter, well, it matters the most. She saw at Sprouts when they went yesterday, the Sam and she. people are noticing her in a different way than before. And this one, we can assure you, is quite observant of these kind of things. The level of permission, that's something she can sniff out physically, in people, in groups, in consciousnesses, in full agreement fields on this earth. Somehow all of that doesn't matter inside the flame. None of it matters. It's like the violet flame she used to run and then inhabit in her car as she made her way from this appointment to that one, thinking, oh, well, for the moment I think I'll just pretend that I'm engulfed in the violet flame of transmutation, and that none of the transmutation stuff touches me in any way. Everything is transformed and transmuted and made better and whole and released through me, but I don't have to feel any of it. So she really liked that. No harm, no foul, but look at what I'm running. This was fun for her. The gold, we have said, yes, like gelata, like liquid gold itself, a congealing of, well, liquid, live benevolence, actually. Divine, everything, creativity, expression, the whole ball of wax. Holy, holy, holy. And the purple, well, is this Saint Germain's purple? Is this the same transmutating purple that I like so much? What does this mean? What does this mean? Oh, Mommy, what does it mean? Well, there have been no such petitions, truly, and due to the flame itself, which she now inhabits, and which has brought a balance and perhaps a momentary decrease in anomaly. Due to this balance, we can assure you the energy it runs is profound and palpable, powerful and evolutionary. Not inhabiting flames, but actually becoming them, not being burned. What else sounds like that? Oh, I don't know. Could it be Moses and his vision of a bush bursting into flames and yet not consumed, having its own fuel, in other words, both in and out. There was a transformation and there was a transfiguration, and then a lot of concern suddenly about selves dying, selves getting bigger, consolidating purposes, consolidating realities, and yet some just wander off. They just wander off all on their own. What's that about? Well, we would submit that the golden, purple, and the white light are truly very symbolic, of course. That the second time that she encountered it, it was not associated with Lady Nada, we would say is significant on many levels. But she's made it plain she is not interested in being anyone's guru, spiritual teacher. Well, then what does that make her? She's not going to heal people. we would reference what the Master Cryon has been saying again and again, that yours may be simply to hold a compassionate light for others, provide illumination for them, however you see fit, basically, to let the rest of it be. We see a picture of a shoe. It is covered with flowers. It kind of looks like a saddle shoe, although it's not. It's a pretty image. We bring it to your attention because this one often will, in company, or especially when working, would be caught up short, either by something she hadn't understood, hadn't appreciated, or hadn't learned yet. And she learned that as these experiences are known, she is expanding. We say a critical mass was hit. We say the pod responded to the call out, and she is to just wait and hang tight. And she understands too that she has a job here now. And this was very important for her to know, because she really does enjoy having a job. She just didn't enjoy the environment in which she had a job, that's all. And so, we are going far, we are very relaxed, we could go very, very, very far with this, and explain much. We will like to pull it together by saying that, yes, there have been some deaths. And what is a death? Well, death is saying goodbye to something that you are convinced cannot ever return. By agreement or design, safe passage has been denied. And this is the energy available and willing to be run during these celestial events. We wish you to note the deep relaxation throughout this one, her knowing sense that she's doing everything right, using us as a crush as she sees fit, as long as she needs, and then not that even anymore. So we say, that we have explained. Whether you feel heard and seen and explained to, well, that's another thing. We can assure you, you are seen. We can assure you, you are made whole in this presence. And we can assure you that we just don't have the interest to make things up. And what we are aware of is such great joy and homecoming and celebration. It is a very good thing. So we leave you now today in light and love and peace and harmony. We are deeply gratified to be here today, and I ask everyone to be nice to one another. Everyone. Behave. Be kind. Be the grown-up in the room. If you've been watching along, you now stand with ancients in your understanding of ancient history, of the grander plan afoot, and many other things that the average Joe has not considered. We know this. But you have. And this is why a day of great juxtaposition and healing, because now we may truly begin the work in a brand new way. Before, it was truly, utterly repeating the same thing again and again, using the physical environment to show the same thing again and again. Just different strains, but the same thing. Now that that's over, well, she's already called one of them etherically, and we applaud her and her choices, whether a beloved man responds or not. This is all that we can do at this time. It's been quite the push. What we truly need is a nap at this point. Yes, with numbers like this, it may be time to just be quiet and allow the day to proceed, yes? So, Lady Nada, well, we would say that this is a placeholder. All of these great masters change over time. You understand that Pluto was a planet, then it was not a planet, then it was a planet. So much of this categorization of etheric energy that lacks a true face but has a signature is then described using words, seen by a mystic, understood by a shaman, made whole. In an ancient's heart, she is not the only one having visions of Jesus. Lady Nada, the Mother Mary, not the only one by a long shot. And each are using their consciousness to express, digest, experience, taste, smell, love, argue with, and come to terms with constructs, huge constructs within which they have romped, but mainly just found corners to sit and rock or weep. The older the age, the more wrinkly the face. When you are a certain soul habitus age, the job comes with a breaking, bleeding, glittering hat. It looks a lot like a jewel, suspended there, glistening with flames. It is hard, though, imagining being frightened. Now, when she goes down into her car, hits the ignition, and goes driving off to burn off what little gas she has left. Which place should I go? Biggest bang for the buck. I gotta make it work here. Well, we would suggest that it's a simple reversal of the pattern, or if you'd like, randomly going from point to point, not even connecting them if you don't want, or go someplace brand new. But expect friends, the kind that Lady Nada keep close, who speak to her pristine, pure, beautiful, innocent wise, profound, giving, massive, heart-filled flames of yellow tips, so gold, like the gold of that wheat field. Her new compatriot described in her NDE. Purple, which not only transmutes everything it contemplates, but which clears spaces in a flash of density, of misunderstanding. Have you not seen this come to pass, dear one? And the white, living, breathing, consuming and consumed, and ever living, white, dolomitic energy, seen within the body habitus as soft, crackling, flames which speak of planets and universes and exploration and discovery. As if they are contained within the most beloved of a bedtime story, read to her by her mother every night, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times, simply because it soothed her. With great thanksgiving and homecoming, we give this most beautiful gift to the one before you, who did not understand the profundity of what she had indeed called upon to herself, through herself, because of her will, her intent, and her heart. We stand in honor of her magnificent soul, and we welcome her into our circle. So grateful and relieved. It is she herself who has stood up, smiled, relaxed those shoulders, adjusted her mantle, and come forward to join us in the council.